Good morning, YouTube. This video is for starter, clutch, or the sprag replacement. 170 RZR, the carbureted edition. Let's get to it. Okay, this is what was removed. These bolts weren't adjusted. I think this bolt right here, I think that's what the originals look like. And you might have some that look like this, I'm not sure, but this back panel is the only part as far as necessary for us to take off to get to what you're looking at would be, I think it's the stator and the flywheel cover. Okay, the next step would be to drain the oil. And to do that, we're going to take the floor jack and a jack stand, and we're going to position it safely, as safe as we can get it, underneath that middle support bar. And then away we go. That should do it. It'll get it off the ground enough to where you can get to the oil drain plug. All right, now we're going to back it up with a jack stand. I know this is not centered, but that's better than nothing. I guess that's how we do it around here. All right, the next thing is a mud flap off the old 359 Peterbilt. Slide it over the edge. Don't want to get under it, but I'll keep the concrete dust off of us. All right, next is the oil drain pan, of course. Slide it under, and I came under the wrong side, but should probably come under the right hand side to get to it, but I'm a long armed fella, so, but right there is the drain plug, and it's a 17 millimeter. All right. It's easy to get loose. Take the drain plug after you get it so loose. Give her a twist. Probably should have used the ratchet a little bit longer, but that's all right. And there comes the good stuff. Of course, there's a spring in there, and let me get this piece, and the little screen filter in there. Okay, and with the oil draining, I'm pretty sure, now I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that that's how that goes. The screen goes into the spring, and the spring goes into the actual drain plug right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes into this. Anyways, there's the oil. Might have to even let the jack down a little bit. Of course, you got to remove the jack stand, but you might have to let the jack down just for a minute and let the oil drain into the back part of the engine. And looked like it didn't help it much, but all right, let's get the oil out. Let's jack it back up. Got the Rapid Pump Pittsburgh Harbor Freight jack. Always does a good job. And slide your jack stand there and ease it back down if you're going to leave it up to work on it, and I am. Put just a little weight on it. Leave a little weight on your jack, and that right there should do it. Okay, the oil's out of it. We're ready to start. Right in here with a, looks like an 8 millimeter. Like I gotta remove the spark plug wire. There's another one here, and there should be another one right there. We'll get to that in a minute. Also, on another note, after the oil's been drained, it's always good to go ahead and put the plug back in right now. That way you don't take a chance pouring your oil in later and it dumping out on the ground because you forgot. Okay, the next step would be, looks like there's an 8mm bolt, and then let me see if I can get it down here. Right here is another 8mm bolt, and then looks like ours is missing 2 right here. I'd say those are probably 8mm too, and then that'll pull the fan cover off. That one loose. Big old long extension here. Get this lower one. Let's see, I don't know where I'm hanging at here. Right there it is. And got them loose. Back them out. Loose. A little Tupperware pan. My Harbor Freight magnet tray, the magnet came off, and it's been into that. It's pretty loose. Okay, that's gonna fall off. Looks like let's retrieve our bolt here before we retrieve our bolt fully. Okay. Alright, and then the fan cover, a little way inside here. Alright, now the fan. I'm going to use that big long extension here. Look, it makes it easier. You don't have to fight with your ratchet on the. You don't have to fight with your ratchet on the inside, you know, to get away, they get it in there. Not a big problem for this, but it'll get worse. And I'm gonna have to come up with a deep well socket. Alright, put it back. I had to gear down to a 1/4" drive with an adapter. It's a hard go to find a 3/8 drive deep well around here. Alright, I've got it rigged up. Let's get back in there. Okay. Loosen. Loosen. Righty tighty, lefty loosey for any rookies out there. Got my son working here with me today, and he's getting pretty used to that sand. Okay, they're all loose. Now, back them out, take the fan on it. All right, got those 4 loose and nothing to it, just comes right off. Easy peasy, as Jacob Grubb would say, my son. Okay, now we'll be looking at, not for sure on that size, we're getting ready to get on that, but looks like we got a bunch more 8mm bolts. We gotta get on here. Then we'll pull that cover off. Not sure exactly what that's called, but I guess it's a stator cover. Backing up on another note, also, let me move this seat. It would be a great idea to take one of the wires off the post of the battery. That way you'll not be working in any danger in case you cross something and it were to turn over. Okay, 17mm for this nut on the old D-Wop. Still plugged into old Thomas Edison, old Tesla here on this stool. All right, wiggle it on there and. Get the nut off. Let's put this in the pile. And we've got the, whatever that runs the, ooh, there went the washer. Okay, let's see. Actually got two washers, might be shims, I'm not for sure, but okay. Got these two and this piece. Looks like it's geared. Okay, and right there. And then we're to this. So now it looks like there's nothing else. Let's get on them 8mm. Alright, there's one of them. Did not feel good there. Let's hope that did not break off. It looks like somebody's been here before. I'm sure that the starter clutch replacement on these carbureted engines, and it runs good, but if you let them sit, most kids' gas toys, after a couple days, they don't ride them for a while. They sit, then they're really hard to start. And then when they get on, and the dads do it, I done this one, I damaged this one myself. They crank and crank and crank until I believe that was okay. I thought it broke, but they crank and crank and crank until they put too much load on the starter clutch. Ooh, that's a long baby. Look at that one. We might should keep up with that. That's something else. Better leave them in there until we get them all loose, and when we pull it out together, we'll just leave it assembled, and that way we know how to go when we go back. You can also draw on a piece of cardboard. That works real good, but let's do it this way this time. All right, moving right along. I'm gonna loosen all these up. And then, when I get them all loose and I get ready to pull this out, I'll get back to you guys. Okay, with all of them loose, let's go through and give them all a gentle pull out. That glue that's on there, the gasket, should hold them right there. There's one that needs, that one's pulling. Loosen them, go through. See, there's another one there. And you got these down here. You gotta pull them out just a little bit. That one's loose. That one's loose. That one's loose. Don't forget this one in the corner. It was the one that, if I was going to miss one because we didn't clean the machine, it'd be the one you'd miss. Right there. Might have a little dirt on it or whatever. Right there it is. Okay. Then, of course, this is a stator cover. So up in here, you can see there's a wiring where the plug thing. Okay, I've got a clip right here, and I'll have to get something to get to it. All right, now let's get back to this plug. Okay, this plug, this is the kind you've got to pick up on this right here. This little tab has to be picked up on, not pushed down. You'll pick up on it, and then it's got this little, you can see it here, let's see, it's got a little hook there if that goes over, so you just, okay, and then you got the, of course, the stator wires dangling now. All right, then you got this, might require pliers for somebody, but this one's pretty big, so you gotta just slide it up and then whoop, there it is. Okay, now I'm going to move this oil drain pan, which I've got it jacked up. I'm going to have to put it up on my jack before I break this loose, because there will be a little bit of oil in there, and we don't want that on the floor. So, all right, let's do it. All right, now, see, I moved the drain pan up on the jack. I guess that's going to work. And then I looked around the engine casing, and there's a crack right here, and these, I guess those things dissipate the heat, or I guess that's the right word. Okay, and you gotta get this thing. I'll try to get it right in between those. It looks like a good crack, and see if I can get the brake loose. All right, the other tool didn't work, and I had to go back to the old trusty, rusty Poppin Mechanics straight screwdriver. It always comes to the rescue. And I did pry down here, but be real careful that you don't break these. This one had been this one had a starter clutch put in before, and he must have glued it with some kind of heavy duty stuff. But anyways, got it. Once I pried there and grabbed right here, came loose. So with the boats still in it, they probably might be a few of them fall out. Ease it off, ease it off. Keep wiggling and wiggling and wiggling. Might have a little pressure on one boat here. I didn't. Yep. Let's see. Nope. And just keep wiggling. All right, I'm gonna have to pull the boats out a little bit. Way I can get it to this thing. Okay, I'm gonna have to use both hands. I'll be right back. All right, it was the long bolts. Before you start to take it all the way off, you need to pull all the bolts out and then re-register them, and that way that it breaks the glue loose in case somebody's been in yours before. Okay, and then this coming off. Okay, and this is what this looks like. Right there's your stator. And this little rubber grommet here with the stator, I can't really get to it, but you can see it right here. It had glue on it, and it wanted to stay, so you might want to pull it out and re-register it too, and that way it comes up pretty easy. But anyways, and there with all the bolts in, I'm going to set it like on top of the Tupperware tub, and then we'll know what to do when we go back. Okay, just to double check on that it is the sprag. I guess it's called the sprag or starter clutch, whatever they call it. Jacob, he's going to demonstrate. I got the broom handle out, pushing on the brake because it's got the safety. He's going to demonstrate that it is the sprag by cranking it a little, and you can see down here what's happening. The sprag is behind well, it's on the flywheel. And go ahead, Jacob, above it. It's not engaging. Okay, that's enough. Okay, it's not engaging, and that is definitely the sprag. Okay, looks like the next step is to get to taking the flywheel off and the starter clutch, which is going to require a tool or something else. And we'll be back. Okay, the next step is taking the flywheel off, which I have already broke this one loose, and I'm going to tell you right now, buy the tool that they suggest no matter what you read. I got this one off, but if you look right here, you can see that this part, hang on just a second, this part with the rivets, see the gaps between this plate and the whatever this is. See, it's gapped. Well, this puller, which is a 5-ton, pulls it off, but it also stretches that. I don't know if we'll see going back what we got, but I'd say I'll have to get that. And then it looks like this has another nut that holds the actual flywheel and the starter clutch or sprag or whatever on, and the tool actually takes this off also, which I'm sure, I mean, you could take a chisel and give it a good peck and get her done. So I'm learning, and you guys are too. But I recommend the actual tool, flywheel tool, and I'll put a link to that for this little job here. Okay, next step, 8mm bolt and this guide. I've done broke this one loose, so I'm going to go ahead and take it out. And then this is a nut, and it is a left-hand thread, and I've got it loose. And of course, let's see, sorry about that. of course, the chisel. Can't beat the old trusty rusty hammer and chisel. Okay, and just like I said, left-handed thread, so I'll be going backwards taking it off. And I'm gonna have two hands for this. Okay, taking that off. Of course, there's a washer here on the outside. We don't want to forget that. But, and now there it comes. Set the washer aside, and here we go. It's the junk part. Okay, looks like we got the old one and the new one. Looks a little different, but maybe it's an updated version and won't do that. So, all right, back on we go. All right, back on we go. Don't forget about the there's a pin here that you got to line up on. Of course, this thing here has a hole in it, and this, let's see, this bearing right here, it comes out real easy, so be careful on it. And let's start back with it. I'll just find how it lines up. Ease it right back up on there. And there it is. Forget the washer. Our keeper, that might be a keeper too. Okay. Looks like it's up on there good. Let's pull the washer off one more time. Just turn out not to be so easy. Okay, get a close up down here. Yeah, it's up. All right. Back washer, keeper, whatever, back on. Now, the next deal is going to be the nuts here going back on, and again, it's going to come off left-handed. Or go back on left-handed. Then, hammer and chisel time. Alright, hammer and chisel, I'm not for sure on this. If you buy the factory tool, I mean, maybe it'll show you how to torque that. I just put it on there to the best where I've felt that it would stay for the most part, and then redo this. And there it is. Tighten it up to torque specs if you're going by it. If not, you know how to do it. Okay. In case, this is just way off of what the right way is, but just in case, I got to worrying about if this right here is where I use that wheel puller, these bends would cause it to be out of harmony. It might cause me some kind of engine deal. So I put it in the press and I pressed it back. It didn't take just a little bit. And I pressed this part back down where it's supposed to go. So if you're using that and that does happen, I mean this is where this road has led me, so just thought I would throw that in there. And they straightened it out. They straightened it out with ease, really. it didn't take much to get this surface back flat, which it wasn't bad, but I mean, you know, probably would have been fine if I put it back on there, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. So that's where that road led, and now we get back to putting it all back together, or finishing putting it together. Also, on inspecting the one-way bearing, or starter, clutch, sprag, whatever, I'm going to look that up, see what we got, what we're calling that. But right there is where she malfunctioned. That band broke, and right there it broke, and it let all that, I guess, get loose or come out. You could crank it forever, and it seemed like some way it would start to get traction, and we got to start for about 2 weeks, and then it finally completely failed. And I'd say that right there, the other end of it broke is what happened. So there it is. Okay, I put this nut, this big nut up on there, and then I took the nut original to the machine, threaded it up, and took an impact, and I bumped it up just till it was good and snug to make sure that that all went up good. And then, of course, it did. Take that off. And of course, don't forget this sleeve on here. It's on there. Now, we're ready to put the cover on. Alright, we got our surfaces cleaned up here. And we've got our gasket and our glue on this one. And we're ready to reinstall it with all the bolts hanging in it. Alright, here goes this part. Looks like it's all going up fine. Alright, I'm going to use a DeWalt impact, but I'm going to be real gentle because going back with an impact, even though with these bolts, are easy to break and easy to strip the thread, so you just barely bump. And right here I'll demonstrate one. Run it up. Just barely click. Go here and get one on the lower part. Just enough. You can go back and check them with the ratchet. It's the best idea. Heard that one sound off. A few of these over here. Alright, now I'm going to get the ratchet and go back over them. I'll be back. Alright, I checked that it cranks, and it does. It cranks real good. So, now, it's time to go back with this stator wire before we forget it. I know that looks like an excessive amount of glue, but I'll probably peel the edges when it gets done hardening or not. I don't know. It's just, okay, stator wires. Plugged in good. Alright. Now we need to put this top hose. Go ahead and put it back on. Sorry about that. Now I need to push this back down on there for the vent. Alright, then lift this over just a little bit. Alright, now we're ready for the next piece. Alright, now this piece, I slid it up on the gear, and then you got the washer and then the nut. Put the nut on there. And then be time for a little impact action. Let's get to that. Alright, we're done with the impact. Now we should make sure it turns. Don't sit against it. It turns freely. It does. Which that tolerance is close on that piece right here, but I mean, you kind of see around it if you look, but it's okay. So, all right, now it's time for the fan. And here we go. Okay, now we've got the fan installed, and the last step as far as the piece on the engine is this piece, and it goes on just like so. You got 8mm here. And an 8mm. Let's see if I can get us down there. There. And sorry again for the quality of this video. It is mine and my son's first one. Okay. Now, I want to warn again against this and tightening bolts, because you can break them off very easily, but I'm gonna run them up with it. There you have it. And there's two more. I don't know what they are here. They weren't with ours, so don't look like a big deal though. All right, let's get the rest of the plastic installed here. Of course, we got a gang array of bolts, and we'll get back when it's finished and we'll show you how it runs. Okay, it's kind of a mixture. It's because some of ours have been replaced to 8mm and 10mm. I'll switch this socket. Now with this 10mm, we'll finish up here. Okay, let's get us all tightened up. Let's try this thing out. See what we got. Battery could be a little weak. Got the green light for neutral. Still up on the jack, but it ain't gonna matter. And there you have it. Just like it came. One more test run. One more. Battery's a little weak. Oh yeah. Okay, this is my son Jacob. He's going to do a little demonstration for us after the repair is made. So go ahead, sir. Now this thing, normally it would take probably a good 5 minutes to start. And there it is. It's running a little lean. Could be due to Need a little fuel. All right, YouTube. This will conclude the video. We thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.